What's up, guys? Badger1 here with Badger Team. I thought I would share a find with y'all that I found on Steam by total accident. This is a mod that was originally designed for ARMA 2 that they have reworked and ported to ARMA 3. It's called Iron Front. They have renamed it Iron Front A3. You can find it on Steam by looking up IFA3. This is the LITE version. I don't know what the full version would be like because this thing is massive. It took me about 30 minutes or so to download the mod off of Steam and get it into my game. It requires 2 other mods in order for it to work. One of them is the IFA3 terrains, and the other is a mod called WW2 objects. I have just started exploring this beast of a mod for ARMA 3, and hats off to all the Iron Front guys and all the modders that made this happen, because this is pretty in-depth for it to be a light version. Like I said, I would love to see the full version. This, to the best of my knowledge and what I've explored so far, it looks like this thing only covers the latter half of the war, and it has German, Russian, and American troops from about 43 until about 45. And so I put some of the equipment down. I couldn't put all of it. I just wanted to kind of give you a sampling and let you look at the models and the uniforms and stuff on some of these guys. But this is pretty impressive. Let me go into Zeus right here so to make this a little easier so I can kind of pan over everything. I'm in first player right now, first person perspective. The mod itself comes with 20 maps. Yeah, you heard me right, 20 maps. Most of them are pretty small. I would say probably less than 12 square miles apiece. This is Colville, France, from 1944. It looks like they've sort of set up a sort of D-Day invasion type map situation. There's bunkers all along the beachhead here. They've got tank traps, and it's a pretty well detailed map. I'll zoom down on it. Of course, I keep all of my terrain effects turned up pretty high, but so you can turn off full grass or leave it on or whatever, but the depth and the detail that went into putting this together is pretty extreme. So let's pan over some of the units that I've put down here, and I'll just sort of let you look at the models and stuff. Both sides, all 3 sides, have several different aircraft types. These are just 2 of the German ones that I've found so far. You got a Focke-Wulf 190 D8, and then Ju-87 D5 right here. Like I said, both of these, all of the aircraft that's in the game, as well as all the armor, the vehicles, all of the guns, all of the AA units, like these flat cannons and stuff down here. All of these things are crewable. You can get in them. The tanks and armor and vehicles all have detailed cockpits, detailed driver seats. All the instrumentation works in them. You can kind of see down in the cockpit of this FW right here a little bit. But when you're actually sitting in the cockpit, all the controls and everything show up a little better for you. These are some of the vehicles. There are also, with this mod, a spring-summer version of these vehicles, as well as winter versions of both troops and vehicles. So when you go to build missions, you can put down several of the maps, at least a half a dozen or probably more, are actually winter campaign maps, all covered in snow. I know that there's two versions of them that are the Ardennes Forest that are both snow. There's a Polish map and several maps inside Russia. There's also a alpha, still in testing version of Berlin towards the end of the war. So the whole city is basically destroyed. And so it allows possibilities for all kinds of options when building missions as far as house-to-house street fighting and that kind of thing towards the end of the war. So anyway, here's some of the armor. This is a Panzer IV here in two different paint schemes. You got a Panther D, King Tiger, and then a Tiger 1. There's several different camo versions of each one of these in the game, and like I said, the winter versions all have the winter camo and paint schemes on them. These are some of the Wehrmacht infantry. You can see these guys are carrying a variety of different weapons, MP44s, MP40s. These guys have M98 rifles. One of these guys down here has a Guerre 43, which I thought was pretty cool right here. But this is just a small sampling of the troops that I've put down. There are tons. There are Luftwaffe aviation units. There are tank crews that are wearing the correct gear, proper gear. There are, I'll show you right here. So there's Winter, Luftwaffe, Panzerwaffe, and Wehrmacht. And if you scroll down a little bit, they have paratroopers, Fallschirmjägers, paratroops. More versions of aircraft there. It's kind of weird the way the mod is set up because the Germans are Blue 4, the Russians are Op 4, and then the American side is actually independent. I'm sure there's a reason for doing that, but I haven't found out. I don't know what that is. But like I said, all of these vehicles are crewable. They sound like the real vehicles, so there was a lot of sound work that went into producing this. Pretty impressive. Each one of the tanks sound different. The Tiger is very impressive. I haven't crewed any of these guns yet to see what they sound like. They have crewable turrets, as they call in Arma 3 turrets, if you're on an emplaced type of weapon like mortars or artillery pieces. Static guns, the MG34 and MG42 here. Let's get on one of these. I want to see what it sounds like. Pack 30 and Pack 40 guns. We got 105mm field howitzer back here. Flak 88 gun right here. So let's crew this MG42 and see what it sounds like. That sounds pretty good. Huh, wonder what that symbol is. Take it apart, maybe? Okay. Doesn't sound exactly like the real thing, but that's close enough. My MP40 here. Now that sounds pretty good. Frags. Let's get on this Flak 88. I want to see what this thing sounds like. I'm sure it's probably got a no gun sight to aim with, but it does track. You can move it. I'm doing this with my mouse, moving it. Has different rounds you can load. HE, armor piercing. So yeah, pretty cool. Let's take one of these wagons down. I've got some American troops set down at the other end of the beach. Engine stays running. Oh, it shut off. I don't know what's going on with this half track, this tank down here. Yeah, it's a half track. It's stuck up in the air. Let's go into Zeus and see if we can fix this real quick. We may be able to, we may not be able to, I don't know. No, we can't. That's alright. I don't know, that's weird. That's something going on there. Maybe too close to the tip of this plane, maybe. Anyway, so here's some American equipment. They've got several versions of the Sherman. You got just the first version of the Sherman that they did, which is over here. It's under, like I said, they're under Independence. And US tank troops, tanks. So you got the M4A3, which is the first version. And then you got the British version of the Sherman 76, which they called the Firefly. And then you've got just the regular Sherman 76. And then they have this other version of a 76, and they call it a HVSS, and I don't know what that means. I've never heard of that before. I'm assuming it's probably a up-armored, up-gunned somehow. You can see it's got a big muzzle brake on the end where the regular Sherman 76 doesn't have it. Anyway, M5 Stewart and an M3, and then they had got to put a half track down, but it's doing something funky. You got a C-47, so you could probably do para-jumps and stuff, para-drops, building missions. So one thing that I was kind of disappointed in, the only American aircraft that they have other than P-39 was the P-47. Although during D-Day they had all different types of aircrafts flying, from Spitfires to Mustangs to everything. These are the only two that I found in the game. But overall, I'm super impressed with this mod. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna build some missions in this, with this, and I'll shoot another video here in a second of some tank battles because I did one earlier. I just didn't get it on film. Wonder what these guys would do if I started shooting at them down here. Shooting at me. Wow. Anyway, there you go. It's overall pretty cool mod. I'm gonna experiment with some mission building and see what I can come up with. Like I said, there's about 20 maps with this mod, so, and they all have World War II style structures and areas that you can fight in and stuff, a little more historic to the time period. So I look forward to building some missions and stuff in here and playing them and getting them up in a video. That's all for now.